Good afternoon everybody, welcome along to today's video. I haven't been here for a couple of weeks. I've been really busy, so my profuse apologies to everybody. Today we've got a video with a difference. You're not going to have to look at my ugly face. We're going to do a patch on the Line 6 Helix. Now while this is for the Line 6 Helix, you can apply these principles to any of your multi-effects or even your analog boards, so please stay with me. I'll try and make it as brief and as succinct as possible, because I know that some of you haven't got the attention span of a goldfish like me. Excuse me. I've been using those of you that follow my channel will know that I bought a Line 6 Helix a few weeks back, and I just started using it live as well. So I've been getting some nice compliments regarding my sound, and I think people, because they don't see an amp on stage anymore, they think it's some sort of sorcery going on, some sort of magic. So I'm having to explain this box to them all over the place, and they've been asking me about it, and a lot of people have been, asking what I'm doing to get my sounds because it's so good. I decided that I was going to do some patches that everybody can take. Now I know a lot of people make these patches and sell these patches, and I don't think that's right. It's not for me to judge. People want to spend. I know people spend a lot of time doing them and and making them up and stuff like that and marketing them, but I just think we're all musicians. We should all be trying to help each other. I've seen people charging a couple of £100 for some of these patches. I don't mean per patch, I mean for a bundle of patches. I just think it's bizarre. I think once they're done, and you're only actually having to make them once, and you can sell them as many times as you want. So we should just always share in these things. We really should. So I'm going to show you how to go about doing a patch. As you can see here, it says The Wall. Now, no prizes for guessing that that's Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall, the actual track itself. This is the one that I'm going to be showing you. I've got all the blocks in here, so I'm just going to show you exactly what I've done to get it, and the reasons why that I've chosen what I've chosen in order to get that David Gilmour guitar sound. Just before we start, I'm using my 2004 Highway 1 Stratocaster with Fender Custom Shop Fat 50 pickups in it. Because I'm using the Fat 50s, they're brilliant pickups, but they can be a bit noisy, so very first in the chain I like to put a noise gate in there. The threshold isn't extremely high, it's just under halfway, and it's got quite a long decay as well, so it's not affecting the dynamics at all of the patch. It's just taking away the hiss of the pickups. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, we look at the amp. We know David Gilmour uses high watt 100 amps, so we're very fortunate with the Line 6 Helix that we have a clone here, a model here of the high watt. Now I've got this here, the drive at 4. David Gilmour likes to keep his amps very clean, and then uses his pedals to start colouring it and for overdrives and stuff. So we've got the drive at 4, we have the bass at 4.5, the mids are pushed at 7.3, and the treble is at 6.3 with 3.7 on the presence. Channel volumes at 6.6. That sort of whatever feels right and nice and tight to you, you just work around that sort of 3/4 area, 2/3, 3/4. Depending on what unit you're using. The master's always all the way up with a Gilmour patch, and as I say, it's because he likes to keep his amps very clean. Now you can see here that I've split the signal coming after the amp into a right and a left, a low. It's all coming back into the one here. This does make a difference, because a lot of the time I use a mono setup. Sometimes I use stereo, but sometimes I use mono, and this helps it to give it a stereo feel when I'm in smaller venues. So I have two cabs, both of them are the Highway or the high watt 100 cabs. The only differences are I've used a different mic. So in the right hand one I've used a 121 ribbon mic, and in the left hand cab I've used a 57 dynamic. The differences here are the SM57 is, for my ears anyway, slightly cleaner, and the the 121 ribbon mic is a bit more bottom on it and a bit more lower mids on it as well. So together they give it a really, really nice, sweet sound. And I'll just show you what I mean by that. Okay, so now in here we have a block of analog chorus, which I'm going to turn on just now. That is typical of David Gilmour. In the right channel, or the left channel, I can't remember which one, but it's one of the channels of his stereo setup, he puts, I think it's a CH1 that he has, that he puts in there, which is the Boss chorus. It's just the analog chorus pedal. So the speed is at 6 Hz, the depth 70%, tone I don't touch, still at 50%, and the mix is 32%. That just adds a nice stereo spread, especially if you're going through analog. So you don't really hear it until it comes out of the PA system, and it makes such a massive, massive difference. So that's very, very important in there. Alright, so we then work back here. Now, David Gilmour doesn't use any sort of clean lead part that you'll hear of David Gilmour. He's not just using one compressor, he's using two. So David Gilmour uses a Boss CS1 and an MXR Dynacomp. So they're modelled here by blue compressor, which is CS1, and red compressor, which is the MXR Dynacomp. So the Boss CS1 will turn on. It has that normally first in the chain. Now the reason for that is it doesn't colour the sound too much. It doesn't. You'll hear the difference between this and the Dynacomp. The Dynacomp's much more of a poppy sound. Whereas the Boss compressor just sort of, it gives it more of a sparkle. It gives it more of a sustained feeling than anything. So. Okay, so sustain just before the 12 o'clock, so I've got it at 0.48 and the level just at 3/4 at 75%. So we'll leave that on. Then move on to the red compressor, which is the MXR Dynacomp, and very, very similar levels. I've got this at 0.47 and 0.72, but you'll hear the difference here. It thickens up the signal, something terrible. So that's the secret to David Gilmour's, apart from the fact that the guy's a monster player and has got, you know, apart from the heart, the soul, the fingers and everything else that goes into being an amazing guitarist. You know, that is the thing that most people, when they're creating a David Gilmour patch, forget about. They stick one compressor in there and wonder why they can't get close to his sound. That's the reason. Compression is just it's another gain stage, and the reason that David Gilmour gets such a nice, creamy, warm, clean, nice clean lead sound is the two compressors. So that's where we are. So I've got the backing track that I use for Another Brick in the Wall when I'm doing this live is the Pulse version, so it has quite a long intro to it. So I'm going to put a bit of reverb on it. The reason David Gilmour doesn't use reverb, but the reason I use reverb is because David Gilmour plays venues that hold 30 and 40 and 50,000 people. I hold venues and play to 3, 4 and 5 people sometimes, so you know, he doesn't need any reverb pedal, but I do, you know, to give the sound a wee bit of carry, as you can hear. Okay, so I put a bit of plate reverb on that, and you see the settings, but reverb's very much to taste, and this changes my reverb. changes from venue to venue, so that's something I don't need to go through the settings of this with you. So at the beginning of the intro we have the delay is slightly different from the rest of the song, so we've got a dotted 8th delay, and where we get to with that is, so you can hear this where this is going. Okay, so you get the idea. So that's the intro for it. We then from the intro move on to the main part of the song, which is the rhythm part of the song. I have both of these programmed on the 1-foot switch, so that when I'm turning this one off, this one turns on, for to give me the rhythm section. Okay, and that remains on throughout the rest of the song. So the only other part of the song, in fact I'm going to show you the delay settings here. Alright, as I say, I have this on a dotted 8th, but I use the tap tempo pedal for to get that, depending on whether I'm playing with the full band or I'm doing it via backing tracks. So I use the tap tempo for that one, and for this one it's just a quarter note delay, feedback at 30 and the mix at 30. That's typical of any delay that David Gilmour uses. He never really goes above that. Okay, then we move on to the solo at the end of the song. Okay, David Gilmour uses BK Butler or Chandler valve tube drivers I think they're called. We have one modelled here, a tube driver, and these are typically the settings that he would use for this song. So we've got 40% on the drive, 75% on the bass, 63% in the mids. He wouldn't push his mids as much as that on this pedal, but this is a model of the pedal, so again these are only guidelines that I'm giving you. It's not set in stone here, but it'll get you close. And the treble at 72%. The output anywhere between 50 and sort of 65%, depending on your the unit that you're using, will get you close to this. I've got this set at 60%. It's just coming through nicely. So. Sorry about that bad bend in there, but I'm actually sitting in a seat trying to do this just now, and I'm close to the desk, so it's not exactly ideal. So that's the patch. The only other thing that I would add here is at the end I would add some studio compression. The reason for that is sometimes when you're using these models, especially your gain stages and stuff, they can get a bit spiky, and sometimes the modulation as well can get like that, depending on what you're using and where you're using it. So I tend to compress things right at the very end, just because it's going straight into the PA. It's not going into an amplifier or anything and then getting mic'd up. So it just gives me a bit more control over it. Now, I have this here. The mix is important here. You can mix this compressor in. When you turn this compressor on in the Helix, it's up at 100%. I bring it back to 50% because 100% is just overkill, I think. And the peak reduction, I bring that back to 7.8. So, and that gives you a sound like this. And I'll turn the overdrive on. So it tends to smooth things out at the end here, which I really like. So that's pretty much how I go about building a patch. Any sort of clean sound, just remember that any sort of clean sound with Gilmour, you'll have, in all likelihood, 2 compressors running at the beginning. And it's really, really important. The rest, such as modulation and stuff like that and delay, is to taste, really, and whatever sounds good to your ears. This isn't a patch that, that's probably not exactly what David Gilmour's settings are going to be, but it's what sounds good to you, remember, and it's what's going to be usable for you in a live situation or a studio situation, whatever you're using it for. So that's the first of the patches. Anybody who wants any particular patches programmed, they're having trouble with anything, please let me know. I will not charge you a single bean for it. We will do a video of it and we'll put it up here for absolutely everybody to share. And hopefully we can get rid of this culture of charging people money for things. Yeah, call me a socialist if you want, and I probably am a wee bit, but it's nice to be nice and it's nice to help people out. So that's it. Thanks very much for everybody for tuning in. I hope it's not been too boring for you, and thanks very much to all my new subscribers as well. It's very, very much appreciated. And I say, anybody's want any reviews, any pedals, anything at all, please let me know and I will do my utmost. So I will see you again next time. Have a great day. The weather's absolutely scorcho in Glasgow right now, so I'm going to go out and catch some rays, and it's taps off weather again. Cheers. Bye bye.